Let me talk about the narc in my life. He's my brother-in-law. I mean, there's a lot of narcissists in my life, but he's the one who's closest to me, just in matters of distance, as I live with him. And mostly, I just want to say that he's like the biggest loser I've ever met. Like, he's really lost this whole life thing. Except he has a good job. That's like the one good thing I could be like, well, he has a good job. It's more than I can say right now. But because he's a narcissist, along with being a really big loser, a really big, pathetic thing, pathetic little robot. But because he's so low in terms of just living life, I think, he has to keep everyone beneath him, and it's not about raising himself up. Narcissists won't do that, but it's about making you look so low you're beneath this guy who's like the biggest loser ever. That's how it is for me right now. So I'm sure he's and that's why it's like so hard for me to be independent, because he's a person who's not independent in any way. He's he's completely codependent with his borderline wife, who's my sister, and that feels bad to say, but still the truth. All they do is abuse me. I really have to like start getting out of this mindset that like there's anything I can do to change their opinion of me. That's why I've decided to rebel today. And rebellion in terms of narcissistic abuse isn't anything special. It's not like a violent rebellion. You don't want that. It's rebellion just in that I decided I'm going to be as independent as I possibly can, and they're just going to have to deal with it. They're going to deal with that by smear campaigning me and making me look like I'm awful for being more independent. And I know that already. I know this is going to be like a very tough road, but I'm just so sick of living here. I'm so sick of how they treat me while I'm being here. And they treat me like I'm not allowed to get out. I'm not allowed to do anything. I've been trying to get out, but I have to do it in these subtle ways because I'm so scared of what they might do to me. And I'm like, why am I even scared of this? Why am I scared of these people? Because they're so petty and weak. But it's like I never know what they're doing to me, They're so passive aggressive that they never make it clear what they're actually doing to me. I mean, I worry that they're going to do things like break my computer or whatever, And they might. They might do things like that. Wait for me to like go out, do DoorDash or something. Sneak in my room at night, or like plant weird evidence so they can call the cops. Who fucking knows, I mean, I literally don't do anything like that, I'm like totally a straight-laced person, so I'm sure they have to smear campaign me even harder because of that, because I'm just a normal guy. But narcissists will always make you have to live in their shadows. It's like part of them is that they have to control everything. They feel they need to. It's pathological. It ties into their envy, I think, or maybe their fear that they're anything less than special, right? They're anything less than perfect, because perfect people are in control of their worlds or something. I don't know. It's one of those things that like doesn't really make sense to me. Why this pathological need for control? This pathological need for power, and it's like, is it because you're inside, you're so powerless, you have to project this need for power onto everything, but it's just like yet another thing that's just doing nothing but screwing up your life and the life of people around you, but you're not going to change. And when they can't control me, they start acting like I'm being mean to them. My independence is a direct offense to them. That's how they act. Even when I'm doing things like DoorDash, I go out to do DoorDash sometimes, and they act like, oh, you were gone for 3 hours? You're the worst person in the world, type of thing. But I know it's part of me that still cares about them. I do care about them, They're my family. But it's like, I know they're doing all this stuff to me. I know they're doing nothing but abuse me. And it's like, I spend all my time with them because otherwise they start treating me like crap. But even doing that, it's like anything I say or do, they immediately have to devalue. Especially now, especially since I started grey rocking my brother-in-law. Now he can't control me. He can't control my emotions and use me for supply whenever the fuck he wants. So it's like, and and my sister who's borderline, she just goes right along with it because I'm sure he's been directly directly smear campaigning me to her. And so, and borderlines just want to become enmeshed with people. They want to basically steal their entire personalities and make them their own because they're too afraid to have their own personalities. But she's like completely enmeshed with him. Like before this started happening, it was like I could talk to her sometimes, but now it's like I'm just talking to another narcissist, you know. I'm just talking to another my brother-in-law. And they're terrible. They're terrible together. And it's like one of those things they can't even see because he wants people to enmesh with him. She wants to enmesh with other people. They're the perfect couple in their own minds, you know. But somebody said to me once that borderline narcissist couples, they hunt out scapegoats wherever they can. They need a scapegoat no matter what, because if they don't have that scapegoat, they'll just rip each other apart, you know. Not literally, I hope, but they have to devalue something. They have to do something with all this garbage inside of them, you know, because they can't introspect. They can't look inward at their own problems and be like, oh, this is a problem I'm having. Maybe I should, you know, like I'm feeling angry right now. Maybe I should do something to cool down. No, they project it onto other people. Say like, you made me angry because you weren't there when I needed you to be, to get angry at, to devalue when I needed you to. And they never forget that shit either. Even though it's something that was always their problem, they'll blame you, never forget that you did that, and never forgive you. And it'll always be their excuse to being mean to you, you know? And they feel justified doing it because you made them mad that one time by not being there when they needed you, quote unquote. I mean, like, narcissists are delusional, you know? They create this false reality where they're never wrong about anything, where they're perfect completely no matter how fucking dumb they are, where they're completely perfect no matter what happens, no matter how evil they are or whatever they do to other people. Because those other people, they don't even see as people, you know? They see them as extensions of themselves. And that's why they have to be in control of everything, because you're an extension of this narcissist, so therefore the narcissist should be able to control you. Just like they can control an arm, like their arm. And when that's not the case, it's because you're evil. It's because they have to project everything onto you that they think. And one of the many ironic things about the whole process is like oftentimes the things that they're telling that you're doing to them, because they have to flip the script so that they appear to be the victim, you know, is the stuff, but like the stuff they're telling other people that you're doing to them is the stuff they're actually doing to you behind closed doors, or sometimes directly to your face. And it's all this need to control everything, you know? And if they can't control you, they'll control the narrative, right? They'll control the narrative around you. Like when I eventually move out and move to wherever the hell I need to get as far away from these people as possible, they will make sure that everyone within earshot knows that it was my fault for leaving, you know? That I abandoned them, not anything they did in any way. That's probably what they're doing now, just me being slightly more independent here and there. And they act like they're entitled to it. They act like they're entitled to my time. And then but my time is totally worthless, so therefore they're entitled to it, or something like that. It's so fucking hypocritical. The whole thing is hypocritical because it's like, I'm only here to be devalued. But when I'm not here, they act like it's the worst thing in the fucking world. And I did it. I'm not allowed to be independent because that scares them, because they can't be independent. I'm going to rebel. Cat wants to be in the lab. The only way I can think to do that is to just be more independent. Be completely independent. Because that's the problem, right? Because narcissists do this thing called splitting, and borderlines, and anyone with a type B personality, they do this thing called splitting, where they split you into categories of either you're all good or you're all bad, you know? You can only do one or the other. You can't be both, right? Even though everyone is both, right? Everyone is good and evil. It's all a level of degree with both of them, right? Like, I would like to think I'm like maybe 5% evil, but then 95% good, right? I mean, I'm still evil and I'm still good. I'm still both. I both them. But because they do this, because narcissists do this splitting thing, once I start rebelling, once I start being independent, I have to go full all the way, you know? I'd be fully independent. There's no slow burn on this. And that's fucking unfortunate, really. Because as soon as I start doing it, any of it, they're going to start treating me like I'm the one that's awful, you know? Because they do this splitting thing, and I'm just going to be all bad after that. They'll just start treating me like I'm a criminal. They might kick me out. I don't even know what I'll do then. It's going to be really hard, whatever the fuck I do. I can't live like this anymore.